Hello. It is, I just renamed this channel. It is Pez Flips. And I've seen other people do this and I really like it myself. I like looking at collection videos. Everyone has their own little random thing. And I have just a few things lined up here. I have been flipping for probably like 6 months. In actuality, I've had a few of these for a while, but didn't really get into the hobby seriously for, about half a year. So I lined them up in order of when I got them, and the first one that I got as a gift, it obviously is the Vulp. Something that I actually like about the Vulp, which is maybe crazy, is I like the 6065 specifically because I think it looks nice when it gets beat. Basically, every single one of these I've taken outside, I've flipped on walks and stuff, and because of that, they don't necessarily look great to some people, but for me, I actually really do like the look of when they're just like that raw, like that beat look. So obviously, yeah, starting with the Vulp. I will say that when I first got into this, yeah, it's a great beginner. Balisong, as everyone says, but that's a pretty boring take. I will be honest, now that I have some other ones, I never touch this guy. I mean, it's fun to bring out every now and then. And for a while, I was thinking about getting the zippy inserts to rebalance the blade because the fans don't really feel great. I remember another person was saying that there was like what's called like drag or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what that is. For me, I just look at the wobble. Like if you look like right on the safe handle when I'm doing my fan, that wobble is crazy. And it just doesn't feel great because of that. I would say that my balance preferences fall closer to whatever neutral is. I mean, it's kind of hard to define neutral as other people have said themselves, but it is what it is. I think also another interesting thing is that the sound of this is the sound, it depends on which handle you're on. So the safe handle versus the bite handle. There's a ring on the bite handle. I was, before using like the Carbon Honey Thin, which is good, but I actually just recently got the thick, so every single one of these has the thick in it. Something that I think is really impressive is the tolerances. This guy has been holding up really well, especially for how much I've beat it. As you can tell, I think it's doing pretty well. Yeah, so moving on to the next one. This was also a gift. Squid Trainer V4. You'll notice that I have this little guy in there. And when I was originally looking for like an upgraded trainer, I was trying to find one that I was actually going to be able to beat and stuff that would last. A lot of people, like, this was actually relatively recently when the V4 had come out when I picked this up. It's actually custom. My brother had got this for me, so ignore the N in the I suppose. Yeah, 7075 aluminum. There was a time where I dropped it and I stepped on it. And it actually kind of creates a really unique pattern. Interestingly enough, like I told you, I like beat balisongs. This one, I kind of go back and forth on whether or not I like it. It fans really amazingly, but holy cow, this thing is so heavy. And honestly, so I've come from playing a lot of FPS and stuff, and with that, part of the warm-up for like aim and stuff, not like everybody does this, but on PC, like you can like warm up with like a really high sensitivity, and then you can lower it so that you feel as if you have more control over something else. And I'll get to this later, but with this guy, I like using this one first because it's almost like I'm training my fingers. Like this guy is so heavy that it allows me to, or it makes the other ones by comparison feel so much lighter. And because of that, like, I do bring this one out often. And because it's like, you know, regarded as being a tank, I do take it on walks and stuff with me. The thing that kind of sucks is that during the winter, it's like so cold that trying to actually flip and whatnot, especially with this guy being so heavy, sometimes I just stop because I just can't do anything. But I would say that it's like probably one of the more neutral. Everyone kind of says that, like, this is a pretty neutral one. I remember when I first got into the hobby, I watched somebody, I can't remember his name, but he was flipping this guy and he put the zippy insert in. And yeah, this is a little bit of it's a cut up one. I originally had one on the spine because they were talking about how the chaplains aren't great. And yeah, the chaplains can kind of get away from you. I feel like it's probably a skill issue on my part. I tried it with that, and I tried it for a really long time. And part of it is just I used to want the ring on my balisongs, but I kind of, I suppose, graduated from that. Because, like, honestly, when you're, like, trying to drill out a new move, dude, it is so annoying. I really like the sound. Like, one of the balisongs that I've looked at is the Telesto or whatever it's called. Because, like, the sound is amazing. And I like really simple designs. I think they're elegant, if you will. But, yeah, this one, I've dropped it a ton. Obviously, Squid is known for great tolerances over time, so there's not really a lot to say here. Sounds good. If I can... Yeah. This one sounds good. I'm happy with it, and now that I've been flipping this, everything else will probably feel better too. So, we have the first live blade that I ever got. This is the one Tsunami. It's like really hard to see the burning ano. This one is also the Damascus blade. I will say that this guy is probably my favorite flipper. Just because the balance feels really good. I've heard people say that the Damascus blade is heavier, and therefore this is almost blade biased, if anything. And, you know, maybe they are right. I mean, I also really do not like the way that chaplains look, at least my chaplains. I know some people do them, like, super smooth, but could not be me. Yeah. I really like this one. I definitely cut myself a lot when I first got it. Dude, like, the first day that I got this thing, I was being so stupid. You know, they talk about knife handling, and, like, when I'm holding, like, a pocket knife, I know not to cut to myself, cut towards myself and all that stuff. But it's like when I first got this thing, it was like super late at night. It was like after I worked a shift. It was like 10:30 or something like that. I got it and I was like trying to like cut into something, and you see I was going like this. And I just absolutely, I don't think I have a scar, but yeah, I absolutely like cut right into my left first finger. And yeah, that was not great. So this one, it's got the ring, and I don't mind it, but it definitely is annoying. This is the one I practice the most on. I'm like right now trying to learn the chatter, but it's not going great, as you can tell. But this one I'm trying to like develop my skills on, which is interesting. You know, it's like a live blade, but this guy, it's not really that sharp anymore. It like came really sharp. I think basically all these like quote unquote budget or you know, like the clone manufacturers, like they go out of their way to like make them really sharp because they're trying to give them some sort of utility as a blade, because as time goes on, because the steel is not the best, you know, they don't really hold their edge. But the plus side is that, you know, you're able to sharpen them relatively easy as a result of that too. But I haven't gotten into sharpening yet. I don't have like a whetstone or a block or anything like that, so it's something that eventually I'll do, but just not right now. This guy, I think there are two things that I'm kind of torn on. So first of all, like we already talked about the anodization, I think that this is really well dressed. The issue is that the finish on this blade, if I were to like customize it a bit more, you can see that it's got blade rub. I would probably try to polish this because it's really faded and doesn't look amazing, but I was like torn between getting the regular one, like the regular blade, or the Damascus. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy a live blade. I might as well ball out, if you will. I think it's like maybe like $20 more, $10 more, something like that. But yeah, the sound on this one is okay. And part of that is due to the fact that it's a floating washer system. All these other ones have been on bushings, but this one is floating washers. And yeah, you ready for the reveal? Oh my God, look at that. This thing, and this is fully cranked down. I'll be honest, I have tried to tune this thing. I think I made the other bushings like way too small, because if I'm understanding the anatomy of a floating washer system correctly, you know, there are still bushings in them. It's just that the washers go on the outside. So, you know, it is what it is. When I do have it like cranked up, the pinsless design of this guy, you can't really see it there. It's just, you know, you can get something out of it, but with like the tolerances being so bad, even with oil and fully cranked down, at least for now, it doesn't sound great. And obviously I still have the stock T8 screws. So I've been looking into getting like a T10 upgrade or something like that, so that it doesn't sound so bad. Maybe I have that backwards, I don't know, but it's just about spending the money on it. I mean, ironically, I have so many of them, so it's like I should be able to just take care of one rather than getting more. But here's the way that I'm going to justify it to myself, even though that this is probably not accurate, is that I'm trying to get a sense of what my preferences are. And because of that, like, you know, I am going out of my way to try different knives, different balancing knives. So it is what it is. And so like basically I would say that this is a great flipper if you can like get it worked on. So I've been debating taking it to a modder to have it converted to bushings, because I feel like that would make this thing so much better, but I'm kind of nervous because I've never done something like that before, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm gonna embarrass myself or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. And obviously I have to get a plastic because you know, you want to try the full range that there is to offer. This is like one of those, oh wait, first of all, this is the Edit Lite. I, you know, kind of followed a similar design. Like you can see, my preferences are kind of showing in the way that I chose to design this one. I didn't really care for the big knife, the other like alternative knife one you can get, like the blade. But this one is fine. I don't know if I love the blade, but it's better than the other one. This guy is so bouncy. It's hard to do like a sound test because it literally, the pinsless design on a plastic makes it go crazy. It's so light. You know, some people like that, and I think that is like an entry level, or like one thing is nice about this is that it's really quiet. It's like very quiet, so it's well, at least on the close though, because of the fact that these guys come out so much, they do hit the inside. You know, there's a certain flex that that it's gonna have because of the fact that it's plastic. But you know, overall, I think it's okay. The balance is actually pretty good. I would say it's like basically neutral. Look at that ugly Chaplin. But like, because it's so light, the ladders are like so easy. You basically do this forever. I think one thing that I didn't really like about this, which I'm like trying to come around on, is the chunkiness. This guy's thick. It doesn't really look thick like on the camera, but at least from flipping everything else, like this guy just feels chunky, and it's a little weird to get used to. Like something I've been looking at is like the Cygnus. You know, I don't really have like the G10 sandwich designs. Is that a sandwich? I think it is. Or it's a channel, or a sandwich or something. But like, you know, I want to have like different kinds as a collection, if you will. And that one I've heard is also really chunky. So I'm trying to get around to this one because I've also heard great things about the Cygnus. The interesting thing about the Cygnus though is that, like, you know, I'm not trying to drama, controversy, but like owning clones, I've heard that there are like clone makers who do the Cygnus but cheaper. I'm actually in the process of getting a Orion 1.5, so I'm already supporting LDY to a certain extent, but like, you know, does that really justify the purchase? I'm not really the person to say. I think that's a personal thing that low battery. It's like a personal thing that I'm just having to not really talk on because I don't think I have the right to. But this guy, it's good, but the thing is, because it's so light, you know, I was talking about the same thing with like the Squid Trainer, is that because this guy is so light, it makes everything else feel so heavy. So this one I can't really flip too often because it just, you know, messes up the feel of all my other ones. But I would say that this guy fans really well, feels really good in that regard. There's not really like that wiggle on the safe, or the wiggle on the handle as much so as some other ones, which is something that I really do care about. But yeah, that's the Edit Lite. Moving on, I only have two more. This is the Arm Shark Squid Trainer V4, or, well, not Squid Trainer, the Kraken V4. And this guy, so this is my first Arm Shark product. I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's like balisong clone support or something. I remember watching his videos and he swayed me, and that guy's like a super Kraken stan. And honestly, a lot of clones are Krakens because it's just the most popular brand, or popular model rather. I think one thing about Arm Shark products is that their swing is a little weird. Like from swinging, from flipping all these other ones and moving into this one, you feel the drag. It's like the tolerances are great. Like that's what Arm Shark is known for in terms of their clones, is that they oh my god, that they have like the best tolerances in this market for being clones. I got this guy from their 50% sale, so I got it for like $60, which is like way worth it. The thing is, like, without inserts, without anything, this guy is miserably handle biased, and you know, it's not a bad thing. It's just not really my preference. Even now, I've done some jank stuff to it. Remember I was talking about that zippy insert in here? Yeah, well, you can see this beautiful mod work. Look at that. Seamless. It actually is kind of gross to look up at close. I just recently did this back one because I was like, you know what, why not? I just cut up this guy, and it is impossible to get those things straight. Doesn't look great, but you know, it is what it is. I will say, it sounds so good. I've been interested in like picking up like a Yuppie or a whatever. I don't know what brand I want to get, but I want to get a live blade for the Kraken, specifically the Tanto one. I think the Bowie one is going to have an issue with being too handle biased still. But yeah, I want to get a reblade and do it. I'm just kind of nervous, and also it's expensive because you can't just buy the blades by themselves. You have to like buy the handles, and it's like, well, then I'm gonna have like a loose pair of handles. But I suppose I can always try to chuck this blade onto their handles. It'd be interesting. It's like a project that I have in mind, but I'm just not ready to do. Yeah, so like it sounds really good. Tolerances are great. I like the blue. I've heard that this is like a pretty much one-to-one design. It is a little slippery, but everyone kind of says that about aluminum trainers anyway, or aluminum balisongs anyway, so it is what it is. I've heard that like Nabali's knives can, like their blades are like basically one-to-one compatible with Arm Shark products. So I could do the Hydra blade on this, but I mean, at that point, like I'm already paying for the Hydra, so I don't really want to spend that much money to do a reblade for something, you know. It would outdo its utility at that point. But yeah, I would say that this guy is probably one of the better sounding ones I have. I have one more after this that I think is my personal favorite. But I'd say, yeah, this guy is really good, especially if you like handle bias. I would have just cut myself there. If you like handle bias, this guy would definitely be your prerogative. For me, because a lot of my first ones were like, well, these first two, handle bias, neutral, you know, moving on to some like, or not handle bias, blade bias, neutral, moving on to this guy is a little weird because I just learned on not necessarily handle bias knives, and because of that, like, the fans feel garbage, to me at least. You know, I don't even do that many fans. Like, something that I am still trying to learn, if you could see that horrible attempt there, is the choker fan. There was a while where I learned it, and I could do it, but I just did so bad. I never wanted to continue to do it, and then I lost it. So now I'm just, like, trying to swallow the pill and learn how to do it. And this guy is, like, the worst one to do it on. It's, like, the worst. Or rather, it's just very difficult. Like this guy, watch me do it first try. And drop it. But, you know, because of the blade bias, never mind. Because of this guy having, you know, better fans overall, it is easier to practice those things on. Anyways, last but not least, we have the Arm Shark Tsunami. And, yeah, I do have a thing for the Tsunami. This guy is actually, you know, Chanwich, actually the same thing. And because of that, the sound is amazing. I will say, though, that even though the sound is amazing, the balance is just a little weird. I think I want to move over from trainers to live blades more often because there's a bit just... With live blades, I believe that you'll just have better... you'll have a better distribution of your weight. There's not so many hot spots as people talk about. And, like, even now I have, like, an insert for it, which I did have to modify, and I did a bad job. But, like this insert, like, I'm still torn about just having this one or having the one on the top as well. Because I have, like, cut out the top one. The top one I did good. But, like, having, like, hotspot weight feels weird. And it makes your knife feel, like, heavy, sluggish, if you will. But I think this guy is one of my favorites because of the sound. Eventually, I think it'd be cool to get, like, a blade on this. Like, if I could get, like, the Kraken Tonto, I probably would, honestly. If anything, because of the fact that it's a sandwich, I'm pretty sure that it's a bit more forgiving when it comes to reblading, because you don't necessarily have to close it all the way. I mean, yeah, that's going to be a cosmetic issue, and maybe I'm just being ignorant here, but I will say, this guy compared to this one, I like the balance of this guy better. I like the fact that it's a live blade. This has, like, I don't know what the coating is called, but it has a coating on it instead of being just like a raw titanium. And also, like, other people have made comparisons about this, but the grip on this guy, I don't know if you can see, but it's, like, got some rays. Also, this is dirty because my dog puts their face on this. But it's, like, actually raised, and it's nice because it gives you grip, but it is also a little uncomfortable. And this one, even though these handles are basically, like, the same size, this one on the Arm Shark one, feels, like, tiny. Like, in my fingers, this guy feels teeny tiny on the handles, which is funny because it's the same, and yet this one feels closer to all the other ones, which is interesting. I don't know. I think it's probably just because I flipped the other one more, but I really do enjoy this one. I will say that I think it'll probably be my next project to do anything on. But it is what it is. I think as a trainer, if I could just be a modifying wizard, you know, and I just snap my fingers and have everything done, I would probably remove all this coating because I think the raw titanium feels better. If I knew how to do that, I'd probably clean it because I'm looking at it and it doesn't look great. So ignore that. Put a live blade on there. It'd be actually really cool if you could fit one of these blades on there, but it would probably be messed up. And maybe anodize it too, because come on, why not? Overall, I would say that my top favorites, if this guy had better tolerances, they would be no competition. I think that if this had the tolerance and sound of this, it would be perfect. So it probably goes this guy into this guy, And then I just appreciate the utility of the Squid Trainer, specifically as like, just like a workout, you know? I'm like training my fingers trying to do this guy. But yeah, overall, 1, 2, and 3. So there's my collection. I plan on probably doing some more just ramble videos. This is my first one. So I was kind of oddly nervous, even though it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But I'd also just had like a coffee, so I was a little jittery anyways. Thanks for watching. Hopefully my flips will be better. I don't really flip on camera while I'm talking. Now I understand why people say it's so bad, but I'm gonna stop rambling and leave. So, bye.